Hampton, because The View is live.
Maybe next time he'll think before he tweets.
Politically incorrect? Brad and Carrie didn't shy away from getting politics into the CMAs last night. But did Faith Hill upstage them without saying a word? Then, is the president embarrassing America overseas?
I never knew we had so many countries.
Could his feud with Kim Jong-un go nuclear?
The longer we wait, the greater the danger grows.
ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz tells us how worried we should be in Hot Topics. And slow down! Spoiler alert! Ellen Pompeo has an exclusive sneak peek at the historic 300th show of Grey's Anatomy. Aren't you curious?
Mayor, stop!
Let's fire up Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Today, may I say, thank God you are out of those heels. I'm loving that you're in flats.
You've been telling me forever to wear slippers.
Yes.
And these are really comfortable. I was like, you know what?
We know that you got the legs and everything, but I have to say, I know that baby was like, take them off.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. Now they give me candy and slippers. If you get pregnant, people treat you really well.
Sometimes.
Not on the subway.
Last night was the biggest night in country music at the CMA Awards, where journalists were initially asked not to talk politics on the red carpet, but co-hosts Brad Paisley and Carrie Underwood decided to do a little something on their own. Take a look.
In the middle of the night, from the privacy of a gold-plated White House toilet seat, he writes, Little Bob Corker, NFL and Kofi. And it's fun to watch, yeah, that's for sure, till little Rocket Man starts a nuclear war, and then maybe next time he'll think before he tweets.
There's always something that they do in their introduction.
Yeah.
I really like that they do that. But the question, I guess, is, are country fans upset? Do they want that kind of talk in their music?
Well, remember what happened back in the day when the Dixie Chicks did something, and the Bush people, the country music people, they blackballed them. So I give them a lot of credit. Of course, there was one title that they didn't do that got nixed. I'm so, what does the headers go? I'm so indicted.
That's great. That's not country, though.
No, but they were going to do it.
They were going to do it.
And then Huey Lewis and the Fake News was another one. So there was a limit to what they would allow.
No, but you got to say they were having a little bit of fun, and I don't think it took away from the show. I just think they were just doing what they do.
It's really brave. I remember in 2003 when the Dixie Chicks said, you know, I'm ashamed that the President of the United States is from Texas.
Yeah.
They got a lot of flack for that, and they were blacklisted. Right. And, you know, we've talked about it at the table. I think Reba McEntire said she's not here to talk about politics. She's here to, for her fans, for an escape.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see both sides of that. Because, when you're listening to music, you want to be able to separate politics out. You want to just chill out.
I have to say that from the 60s and 70s, that is exactly the opposite of what my generation did. you know, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and the Rolling, well, not the Stones necessarily, but
Well, the lyrics,
there were others. I mean, Woodstock, the Woodstock generation, everything was
Country music is a refuge for conservatives, though. You can't get any celebrity endorsements normally to come out for Republicans. You could always rely on some country singers to come out and put on a good show, at least in the campaigns I've been involved in. I will say that Taylor Swift has gotten a lot of heat for not getting political at all during this last election. People were very angry she didn't speak out one way or the other. So you can't, there's no way to win, it seems, in life right now. If you're too political, you're too supportive of Trump, people will blacklist you. If you don't say anything, people blacklist you too. So, like, what exactly are we expecting from our artists right now?
It should be a personal choice. It should be a personal choice, because I think some people feel a calling to speak out. They're like, this is my platform. I can't even stop myself. I need to talk about this. There are other people like Reba and everyone that find comfort in the fact that, like,
they don't have to.
Yeah, and they should never be, no one should be asked or pressured to, well, who'd you vote for? Or who'd you, these are private things. If you want them private, keep them private.
There can't be backlash.
Yeah, it's
well,
you can't. Yeah,
that's
the thing.
There can
like
be,
the
but you know, well, yeah. I mean,
could lose your career.
Yes, for 5 or 8 years. Yes, I know that.
You know that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
You experienced that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
But that doesn't stop her.
Yeah, Whoopi experienced
I don't actually know that.
Oh, I'll tell you.
That has not stopped Whoopi from doing
No,
what
it has
she does.
not.
And, you know, we're in...
But it's this, and the reason I always say thank you to Barbara Walters is because no one was hiring me. I lost all endorsements, everything.
What?
And they were wrong
it's a long story.
Yeah.
They were wrong,
took it out
but it was easy. It's easier to say, you know, Whoopi said, and people believe it because they just assume I did. And so, because something was said about that I did something that I actually hadn't done. It's one of the rare occasions where I actually didn't do it. But lost everything. Lost everything. So, you know, I was so grateful to Barbara because nobody would hire me, and she did. She did. So that's why I'm happy.
You know, because the CMAs, I like the CMAs, and I like to watch them, and they're always apolitical. I was wondering if because the Las Vegas massacre occurred during a country music concert, right, like a festival, did people really feel
they did an amazing, I believe several of the country artists were on stage together performing. It was
But my
spectacular.
favorite country music artists are political. I mean, Johnny Cash, you know, I love Bring It On. My all-time favorite ever, Johnny and June, were deeply political people. Obviously, you know, performing at Folsom Prison at the time was a very sort of controversial thing to do. So I do think, like, this sort of, I'm going to opt out forever. My personal favorite music does have a lot of politics in it.
Well, I think that in these times that we're living right now, which are serious and difficult and dangerous because of the person in the White House, I think it's incumbent upon all good people to speak out if they can.
Do you judge Taylor Swift for not?
I'm not judging. I'm just giving a suggestion.
Okay.
That's a real smile.
With that suggestion comes this: not everybody's cut out to do it. But if it moves you, you know, feel free. If it doesn't, then, you know, don't do it. But you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to linger like bad gas. We're going, and we'll be back with more Hot Topics.
Later, Erasing Spacey. Filmmakers are refilming Kevin Spacey's latest movie as more shocking sexual abuse allegations emerge. But can anyone watch his old roles the same way again? Tomorrow, a View exclusive. She represented Harvey Weinstein and made headlines when she publicly resigned. Now, what's Lisa Bloom saying about the man she once defended? The exclusive breaks tomorrow only on The View. Is the Russia investigation gonna reach all the way to the president? ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz hits Hot Topics. Plus, Grey's Anatomy is hours away from its epic 300th show. And Ellen Pompeo's got an exclusive sneak peek.
Hey now, welcome back. So, you know, we were talking about the CMAs. Well, one of the biggest things that happened at the CMA is getting a lot of social buzz this morning because one of the biggest winners
Longest.
Huge. Was Faith Hill's leg.
Yep.
People are losing their mind about this leg. Now, we're assuming it's her leg. It could be anybody's
But what's
leg.
so great? What's so hot about it?
Well,
It's nice.
apparently,
Look at it. Look at how
Look
beautiful
that leg looks, and she's 50 years old. She looks good.
Why do you keep saying it like that's your
Legs
crazy
don't
leg?
change.
That's a good leg.
Legs stay the same. They don't change.
I mean,
my
and
legs
you have to have
changed, and
good
I'm
legs.
not that old yet.
yeah, my
get,
49-year-old legs do not look like
weird
that.
stuff.
Well, you're clearly not doing the same thing.
I'm not doing what
Wait,
she's
someone-
doing.
It's you know, we can make your leg look like that.
Really?
With
Yeah.
makeup, but not.
It's
It's not
makeup.
going to come.
Not
It's
like
not going to
that.
pop. It moved a little. Like that's.
Yeah.
That's not makeup. But there was a trio. Someone tweeted a trio was last night. Faith, Tim McGraw, and Faith's right leg.
Yeah.
So you guys, don't worry. As the the journalists at the table, I dug deep.
Okay.
There are other celebrity body parts with Twitter accounts. Okay.
Oh.
One I'm following.
Wait.
Faith Hill's leg.
Her leg has a Twitter account?
Did you look at that leg? It needs one.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not big on Twitter stuff because I think there's some ridiculous stuff. But do tell.
I follow.
Does your belly have its own Twitter?
Oh, it should. Nobody's checking for my belly. But I am following both of Faith's legs
Who
accounts.
else is on there?
Angelina Jolie's right leg.
Oh, remember that?
That's also happening.
Oh,
Bradley Cooper's
Now, that leg
mustache.
does not look like Faith Hill's leg.
No, Faith's leg looks better.
So why does that leg
That's why I'm not following that account.
Oh, I thought you said...
Justin Bieber's hair and a little political one I threw in here for you, Megan. Rick Perry's hair also has.
He does have
Rick
good
Perry's
hair.
Perry.
Nice hair.
And J-Lo's bum.
I can't even tell you
And that account follows her.
what You're so funny.
Thank you.
Okay. We good now?
We good.
Okay. Yesterday marked the one-year anniversary of the new guy's victory, and he marked the occasion by tweeting this photo with the message, "Congratulations to all of the deplorables and the millions of people who gave us a massive electoral college landslide victory."
Oh, give it up already.
Apparently, those voters feel the same way. They still give him high marks. They're not high. They're giving him high marks. And they said they would vote for him again.
Yeah. He's hanging on to these people for dear life, this guy.
You know what, though? Let's face it. I can completely understand why the Trump voters are still supporting him. Because, one of the Trump voters said he's trying to do his job, but they just ain't letting him. Another one said he talks down to earth. He has been trying to fulfill the commitments he made to the citizens that elected him. I remember when Obama was in his presidency, there was a lot of obstructionism going on. They weren't allowing him to do what I think he wanted to do, and I still gave him an A. I was still supportive of him.
But he got plenty done. This guy hasn't gotten anything done.
But it's only been a year.
Saying in the beginning he wasn't.
He's not going to get health care reform. Tax reform looks very iffy. Where's the wall? I don't see the wall. Where's the wall?
But I get it. I get it.
Sunny's right. It's only been 9 months. The one thing I will say is I feel sort of like the Jane Goodall of Red America everywhere I go, where people are like, explain Trump voters to me. And there's this image of a Trump voter being sort of a, really red state, West Virginia coal miner. And it's not true.
That's not true.
Did you know that President Trump got a higher support among black men and Latino voters than my father and Mitt Romney?
Yeah.
There are all these districts in Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia, North Carolina, Maine, New York, and Wisconsin. Those are all Obama districts that Trump flipped. So when we look really deep into America, we have to understand, I think it's about poverty. I think it's about anger towards things not getting done. And I do think this 82%...
Some of it's racism, let's call it.
I think that is so irresponsible.
Why?
Because I think when you blanket all Trump support...
Not all. I said some.
When you say racism, what do you mean?
Is a factor in the support for him. It's obvious.
I think
because of the backlash from
he says
an Obama
he's
presidency?
racist, and people who follow him have to sign on to that, don't they?
But does it not... I just told you Latino men and black men. I told you, Latino men and black men voted for Trump in a higher number than Romney and my father.
And I said not all. I'm saying some.
Okay.
You don't think there was a racial component?
I think there is a component, but I think to sort of blanket it by saying, like, I think like when you see in Charlotte, North Carolina, like the riots are happening, you have to understand that it's a tiny, I think there were 300 people there. I'm not saying it's horrific. I'm not saying it's something that obviously some people feel more emboldened to come out. It's Trump's fault for not getting Steve Bannon out of office and not immediately condemning things. Okay. But I think to blanket it in any way as a bigger portion than I think is a tiny minority.
The interesting thing to me is that these people will blame the Republican Party for all of Trump's failures. 100%. So the Republicans are in deep water here because they can't win a primary
without him,
and they can't win the general with him. So they better get their act together.
Yeah, and that is true. That is
100% true.
You know what's coming.
We're going to break. We'll be right back.
Could the Air Force have prevented 26 people from dying in the Texas church massacre? ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz on the military's major mistake. Next.
Okay, brace yourself. You will never hear me say this again. I kind of wish that you know who was in the White House right now instead of in Asia. Because he's scaring the hell out of everybody. Joining Hot Topics right now with her take on what's going on in the world is ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent. God, Martha, that's a long... So, we're only a year into you-know-who's presidency, but it's clear that other countries, including our allies, they feel a little nervous about him. They always look like this when I look at them. When he's standing next to them, they're like this. So do you...
Angela Merkel? Yeah. I mean, just check the video.
Okay. A little panicky. I mean, do you think he's hurting our standing in the world, or do our allies realize that we actually are listening and paying attention?
Well, I think it's certainly changed our standing in the world. I think it's puzzled people. I think they don't know where they stand sometimes, or where we're going as a country, or whether President Trump talks for the country, or whether there are people whispering in his ear. Right. I think probably what they do is think whatever happens, we'll all survive. They're more focused on their own countries, I think, the same way that President Trump seems to be focused on what we do in this country. But I do. I mean, I travel around the world, and there's definitely a change in how we're viewed. And definitely a little nervousness.
Well, I think they're also perhaps nervous about the flip-flopping. You know, we saw an example in North Korea on his Asia trip. At first, he invited North Korea to make a deal, but then a day later, he warned them not to underestimate us. As to China, he said at first, China is raping us in terms of rates, and then all of a sudden it was, actually, I'm not going to blame China. So who do we believe?
Which was pretty extraordinary statement. It's like, what?
In front of
you said this in the campaign.
It's like Chinatown. It's my sister. It's my mother.
Yeah.
My sister.
I mean, that kind of flip-flopping, who are we to believe?
Well, I think in terms of, this is what I would say about North Korea, and I think it's something that everybody forgets. There's no other president who has had to deal with a North Korea that, if not already, any minute is going to be capable of putting a nuclear weapon on a ballistic missile that is capable of hitting the U.S. That's a whole different ballgame. Yeah. Now, the one thing that I wish would happen is, instead of all the threats, instead of all this, and you have to have a little threat behind your diplomacy sometimes, or people won't come to the table. I wish the American people knew more about what would happen if there is a war in Korea. Because you've got a lot of foreign policy experts saying there's a good chance this can happen. This would be like nothing else.
People don't seem to remember what happened when we dropped those bombs on Japan.
And they're doing a lot of exercises over there. I've been there, I think, three, 4 times this year. I was just out on the USS Reagan, out in the Sea of Japan, watching these exercises and what they go through. the results of any of that would be horrific. And we're talking about South Korean lives, we're talking about Japanese lives, we are talking about the lives of American forces. And as much as President Trump says, you know, I'm not going to give away my plan, it should be debated what happens. Yeah. It should be talked about, and people should know what it means.
Absolutely. Can anybody stop him, though, from pressing that button?
Well, he is the commander-in-chief. I believe if it got to that point, he would have had advice from Secretary Mattis, someone I know is just a solid, going to give President Trump the best advice possible, and obviously has a lot of background in that. But I you know, to your point, Sonny, too, on China, and that was such a surprise hearing him say, oh, it's not China's fault. I mean, he totally gave China a pass yesterday. He clearly wants China's help with North Korea. Everybody keeps saying China can help solve the problem, they can help solve the problem, but I'm not sure they really will add that much pressure to North Korea.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about the long road home, because it is fantastic, Martha. It is fantastic. It really is. It's a mini-series on National Geographic. It's on your best-selling book about a tragic day known as Black Sunday. Please tell everyone what happened.
This was in April 4th, 2004, and I know it's hard for all of us to remember a time when we were shocked by the death of 8 soldiers. But this was a platoon. It was 18 soldiers and an Iraqi interpreter who thought they were on a reconstruction mission. The whole battalion did from the 1st Cavalry Division. And instead, they were ambushed, and they were basically ambushed by the entire city. I mean, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people who came out. They had just taken over, so they were trapped on a roof. 2 of their Humvees were burned up. Also, something we forget, a lot of the guys were in canvas-covered Humvees because they thought it was a peacekeeping mission. So they send in these rescue squads, some of them in open truck. It chills me to see this recreation because it's so accurate. They rebuilt Soldier City, and they had those guys going in open trucks, you know, 18 guys in the back of a truck just under fire. And it was really a tidal wave of wounded.
We have a clip, though. You set that up nicely. So let's take a look at this.
Apparently, the men who attacked the Crusaders ambushed them using police uniforms. This is citywide, sir. There's no one else right now, just us. What are your orders, sir?
We launch. Now.
Sir, the Crusaders still have to complete Kazbek.
There's no time. It could take an hour, it could take several until they're back in the fight to target. Our guys don't have that long.
You know,
Incredible.
Martha, I know you have personally made connections with these soldiers' families. Can you tell me what their experience was like?
It has been, honestly, the most profound thing I've ever worked on. And most of that is because those soldiers, those sacred Gold Star families that we have dealt with. I started covering this for ABC News 13 years ago. I know a lot of these people today and remain so close to them. It has been a healing experience for them. I walked down that set, which is so realistic, with a Gold Star mom and the actor who plays her son, Ian Quinlan, both of us hugging this woman, holding her hand, and said, do you want to leave set? Because it's so realistic. And she said, no, I want to feel what my son felt that last night.
Oh, my God.
But you know, looking up into this dusty sky, there was a full moon out, and just holding her, I mean, just loveliest families. And the soldiers, you know, a lot of them still struggle. I think it's another thing that people don't realize. Those families will always have that loss.
Oh, yes.
You know, that woman's grandson is grown up, and, you know, it is life-changing. Still, people deal with PTSD from this, but I know this has helped. We had wonderful consultants on this project, both veterans. One of them was trapped on the roof, Eric Burkwa and Aaron Fowler. The cast has been amazing. I mean, Michael Kelly, you saw there, just trying to portray these people, and many of them are still on active duty, which is, I don't know whether that's unprecedented that you have a film like this, a series like this, where people are still serving.
Well, you know what? You are always informative. You go everywhere, so we know that you're seeing what's happening. And I for one, am glad you're out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Long Road Home airs Tuesday night on National Geographic, and we'll be right back. going to Vegas for my annual birthday show, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you happen, you know, maybe you're not doing anything, maybe you see JetBlue and you think, oh, I want to go to Vegas. Come play. Come play with me in Vegas. I'm at Treasure Island, and it's fun, and, you know, it's not a lot of politics. It's really about how did my behind get to be this big? What is that on the floor? Oh, that's me. It's all kinds of silly and wonderful. So if you're around, come and play. That's all. So now, you know, these allegations of sexual assault keep coming out, and another was made against Kevin Spacey. And filmmakers are now removing him from his latest movie and reshooting his part with the actor Christopher Plummer. So the question, I guess, is, if one of his old movies comes up, would you have a hard time watching it?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I think, you know, after the Woody Allen allegations, I stopped watching his movies. I think there's a way to use your voice by using your pocketbook. And so, you know, that's always been my way. And I just think sexual harassment, sexual assault, it's just so serious. Yeah, it's just so serious.
Like when you hear, I've never been to a prison, but you watch a lot of movies. They're like the lowest rung on the ladder with how they're treated. I think it's very hard for people to get past when you're abusing children.
That's right.
And so I think for me, with this particular one, and I always loved him. I had his pictures up with Al Pacino in college because I loved really, like, amazing actors.
House of Cards.
I think it'd be hard for me to stomach it now. It's not with everyone. Not every accusation does this, but there are some that you just can't let yourself go past. You can't believe him anymore. Like, and that's Kevin Spacey.
Well, his career might be over.
It's a conversation about separating art from the artist, though, which, again, I think is a conversation that's going on for hundreds of years and probably still will continue to go on. I am admitting this on national television. I still watch Woody Allen movies, and I feel guilty about it every time I do. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. But I really like his movies. And even some of the more recent ones that have come out, I remember going to the theater to see it and being like, I hope nobody sees me and is judging me for this, because I like the art he creates. And by the way, there's a bunch of people backing this financially, movie studios. So it's a catch-22, and I think you just have to take it at your behest.
It's a decision, again. You know, it's a personal decision.
That being said, past it. It's just
there are many artists with bad peccadillos.
Yeah. You know, I guess Woody Allen did, you know, similar to what Kevin
allegedly.
Ezra Pound, the great poet Ezra Pound was a notorious anti-Semite. Wagner, notorious anti-Semite. People go to the Wagnerian opera. People do go to see these great artists work.
I think for me it's personal because I prosecuted child sex crimes and I've seen the devastation. You know, anyone that's accused of a child sex crime, I think it's just very serious.
Can I say one thing? Like, and again, this is different when you're talking about like sex stuff, especially pedophilia. That is, I agree, like a level below. But I remember having conversations about a lot of Hollywood actors don't like Republicans, you know, viscerally speak out in different ways about how much they think, you know, Republicans are awful. I came to a point where I was like, I got to tune it out, because if you're making good comedy, I do think that like cream rises to the top. And at some point, if I'm dictating what I watch based on politics, I'm going to end up like only watching Tim Allen, and that's it.
And as an actor, you know, listen, what I do as an actor has very little to do with my personal life. And this is my art, and this is myself. You can judge me as Whoopi, but you don't have to like my movies. But if my movies are good and they make you laugh, you should see them. You don't have to worry about what I'm going to say in the movie or that's going to piss you off, because it's not me saying, it's the scripts that I'm doing. So you know, there's a lot of folks, and if you look back in the history of films, you know, there's a lot of really dodgy folks. We're a dodgy bunch, the entertainment industry. But as it turns out, all industries seem to have the same issue. They seem to feel people in power. People in power taking advantage of people.
It's interesting that they let. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, we have to say that Kevin Spacey says he's seeking treatment. So there is that.
You know, it's interesting that they allow Roman Polanski. I mean, Roman Polanski has been allowed to make films, even though he
involves the child as well.
But there's I think it's because he's behind the camera and not on the screen that people are more repelled and repulsed by, let's say, watching Spacey than seeing a Roman Polanski movie, because he's not in the movie.
Right. Well, it'll be very interesting when they finally bring all these guys to trial. We'll be right back. Let's talk about something good.
Okay, Monday we're celebrating Whoopi's birthday. First, Whoopi gives us the inside scoop on her favorite thing.
Wait, it gets better, wait.
Then, Common and Andra Day give us an unforgettable performance. Plus, Blackish star Jennifer Lewis drops by.
It's amazing.
It's all happening Monday on The View on ABC.
Apparently, the tabloids are partying because it looks like, and we're not saying it's finished, but it looks like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. Oh my God, they might be back together again. And they're both like each other's first love. And apparently, like, a lot of people feel that this is like a great thing if you go back to the first person like you fell in love with.
Really?
And yeah. And so
they're a lot
what do you think
closer
about
to that age.
Right,
Because if I went back now, the changes of who I am, I don't
Well, it
think
would be hard for you to do it now.
What?
Like, I don't want to, like, call you out or anything, but it's so different.
Some people are into this. So
that's the whole thing.
Yeah. I think going back to someone, I'm so different that I look back and we would never make it a minute.
It's the remix. I have a girlfriend.
The remix.
The remix.
It's the recycle.
It's the recycle
green,
remix.
Sunny.
I have a girlfriend, Jill, who
oh my God.
don't hold back.
This is why your friends get really pissed at you.
I know, they do. I told her one day I was going to out her.
Hurry up,
She does the remix a lot.
She recycles.
Like, she brings people, and I'm like, he looks so familiar. And then she's like, yeah, that was my boyfriend from 10 years ago. I'm like, why are you doing the remix again? You know, I don't know. Well, you broke up for a reason.
Yeah, but sometimes you grow.
Yeah, I guess.
You broke up for a reason.
I mean, you're the youngest amongst us.
Yes.
So,
did you go back to your first love?
the remix?
No, but I'm like completely scorched earth. I'm like, you would no longer exist.
Yes.
You died. We no longer talk. Like, I never want to see you. You saw me naked. We are dead.
You can't hang out with them anymore.
I know, it's like all my exes died in this weird bus crash. They were all together and went into a river. But I'm serious. I don't understand this concept. I move forward in life and all things in general. All my exes, sorry, watch me on The View. The
she drop the mic. Okay, Curly, watch me on The View. You're done. And you know what? That was really short and fun. And so we're going to, like, go to break and we'll be back.
What does Grey's Anatomy have planned for their epic 300th episode? Ellen Pompeo has an exclusive first look next. Tomorrow, she spent her career fighting for victims of sexual harassment. He's accused of monstrous acts of sexual abuse. So why did attorney Lisa Bloom choose to advise Harvey Weinstein? She's live only on The View to reveal why she did it, what she regrets, and what she's doing now.
My weekly appointment with the staff on Grey's Anatomy, which celebrates its historic episode 300 tonight. Right now, we're getting a sneak preview from Dr. Meredith Grey herself. Please welcome Ellen Pompeo.
So nice to see you again.
Now,
okay, sorry, that took so long.
You've got a lot going on because I'm not going to forget. It's her birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
His wedding anniversary.
That's right. I feel like I knew that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
We don't flex.
Scorpio, no, we don't.
Flex.
No, we don't.
Today we're talking 300 episodes, which is no light feat. Like, why do you think the show has stayed so relevant to people?
Oh God, who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
Good scripts.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, good scripts. I mean, great actors. I mean, we work our tails off, certainly, to try to, everybody. It's such a huge effort, from the crew to the writers to Shonda. We all just work really, really hard, and we care very much about what we do. So,
and people love doctors and medical dramas.
They do. I feel like everybody can relate.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we all know someone who's in the hospital or been in the hospital or dealt with health issues. So I think that is, unfortunately, a very relatable scenario. I mean, all hospital shows have always done well, right? St. Elsewhere, Chicago Hope.
General Hospital.
General Hospital, which does a lot.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
You directed an episode of the show last season, and you're going to do it, right?
Finally.
And you're going to do it again.
I am,
do it again.
yeah. I only do one a season because I can't really lighten up my act. They won't let me lighten up my acting load to direct.
Okay.
So doing the two at one time is too much. So I stick to just one a season.
But you say that Shonda has provided an environment so that women can excel.
She has, yeah.
Yeah.
She really has, yeah. I have to say, I think, I breathe rarefied air. In an environment where a woman is my boss. I've had 3 children on the show. I'm allowed to be a mother and work. She makes it all possible. I get paid, as much, or if not more, than any man. And our evolution... Good for you. Yeah. We also have, a really diverse behind the scenes. I mean, it's all women. Our head writer, Krista Vernoff, our showrunner, is a woman. Obviously, we have Shonda. We have all women running Shondaland shows, are really all women.
And your show is so beloved, though, and we actually have an exclusive clip of this special episode tonight.
Oh. It's a trauma. I can page Owen if I need some help. I'm saying you still go win your Harper Avery.
Pretend I'm your friend.
What?
I have too much promise to die.
I got you.
You're not Meredith Grey. I want to grow up to be you, so pretend I'm your friend, the one I remind you of, because you know her and you love her, and I'm just the girl who's been annoying you all day. Please, Dr. Grey, save me like I'm your friend.
You just are never here long enough. You're never here long enough.
Thank you.
The 300th episode of Grey's Anatomy airs tonight at 8 p.m. right here at ABC. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming. Have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy the view and come to Vegas if you're free.